तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। योऽन्ता प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां संजीवयत अखिल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना। अन्यांशः सचरण श्रवणात्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। कदाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विष्णुते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्यं नमामि तम्। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the session after lunch. This is the time when generally people feel drowsy. After lunch, they feel sleepy. It's a challenge to have a talk after lunch. But I request you, please pay attention. So, we are discussing about the sacred space, and the morning we discussed about the intention or wanting to go beyond the external world, going inner. And there are three aspects to this: service, Shravanam, and chanting. Hearing, chanting, and service. So service we will not covering it in the retreat in this 2-day workshop because all of you are already doing a lot of service. You are part of the volunteers team. So seva. But seva is the most easiest of the three because seva is physical. Everybody can do seva. But the seva attitude is sustained through hearing and chanting. I know people who have done service for some years and then they have had big fights and they have left. Just serving is not sufficient. Serving has to be balanced with hearing and chanting, both. So today we will be here, now I will be discussing on hearing and tomorrow morning on chanting. Hare Krishna. So now, before we discuss the importance of hearing scriptures, I'll ask you a question. That way I can assure myself that will be awake. Okay. I'll tell you a story and then I want you to answer a question at the end of the story. You'll have to listen very carefully to this story. All of you ready?
Yes.
There was a princess, she was very beautiful. She was supposed to get married and the king had arranged a swayamvar. Anyone know what is the swayamvar? What is the swayamvar? Who will explain? Just raise your hand if you know what is the swayamvar. Yes, Prabhu.
So in Swayamvar, whoever wants to marry the princess, they have to win the competition arranged by the father. So
That's no. There's something. This is a different swayamvar. Okay, Smatari.
Prabhu, that the princess has a choice to choose her husband by herself.
Yeah, the princess has a choice. So all the eligible kings or princes, they will be sitting. She'll take a garland and she'll put it on one of them. the person she chooses to be her husband. So this was Swayamvar organized by the king for his daughter. And he was excited, and all the eligible kings from the neighborhood kingdom, they all had come. And many were there, but 3 of them were convinced that each one of these 3 men were convinced that he loves the princess the most. So each of the 3 was thinking, there is no one in the world who loves her more than I love her. So I deserve to get her hand in marriage. So they all, along with the others, hundreds of people, they were also there. And something tragic happened at night. When the princess was fast asleep, waiting for the Swayamvar the next morning, a poisonous serpent came to her bed and bit her, and she died. And the morning, the king announced very sadly that his daughter is no more, and all the princes left. Because naturally they can't get married to her, she's dead. But these 3 young men who were convinced that they love her the most, they stayed back. And they were like crestfallen, devastated. Oh, I love her the most and she's no more. So her dead body was brought to the funeral pyre, it was put there, and the final rites were performed. And one of the prince, we call him as Prince number 1, who was madly in love with her. He said, I can't live without her. I love her the most. So I will also enter the funeral pyre. So he committed sati, the male version. So he jumped into the fire and he also died. He also got burned alive. Along with the dead body, he was also burned. Because he loved her so much. Prince number 2, he said, as the bodies were being burned, he sat there. He said, no, I'm sure she'll come back to life. No, she can't die, she can't leave me like this. She will come back to life, she will come back to life. So he stayed there. He sat there, he said, I'll wait here till she comes back to life. I'm sure she'll come back to life. And he just sat there. And the 3rd prince, he said, she can't die, I love her the most. I will ensure that she comes back to life. I will cross across the 7 mountains and 7 oceans and get a medicinal herb of immortality. So fighting against demons and all the wild animals, he went through this arduous journey, and 6 months later he was back with his medicinal herb which can bring back a dead person back to life. So then the king was happy that this man has come back with this medicine. That medicine was put on the ashes which were there, and lo and behold, she came back to life. Haribol. But she didn't come back alone. Somebody else came back to life. Prince number 1 also came back to life. So Prince number 1 came back to life. And he said, wow, she's here, I'm here. Let's get married, I love you the most. I jumped into the fire for you. And Prince number 2 said, I've been waiting here for you. All this time, knowing that you'll come back to life. And Prince number 3 said, I brought you back to life. Marry me. And the king gave her the garland. She had the garland in her hand. Now she has to put the garland. She can't put it in all 3. Only one of them. Whom will she choose as her husband? And why? So now I know this question will keep you awake. Okay, how many of you think, who is Prince number 1? Huh? The one who jumped into the fire, right? So how many of you think you should marry Prince number 1? Please raise your hand. Only 2 hands. Only 2 people feel you should. 3. How many? Anybody else feels you should marry Prince 1? 4, 5, 6. We are doing democracy voting. 6. 6 of you feel that she should marry Prince number 1. Can you explain why? 7. Some more votes. Any more? Any? You would like to explain why she should marry this Prince number 1? Yes.
He did the biggest balidan.
What is the Balidan?
supreme sacrifice.
What does supreme sacrifice mean?
That he jumped into the
The
fire.
fire. Anybody else would like to answer why she should marry the first prince?
I think you can tolerate the pain.
Could tolerate the pain of. He couldn't tolerate the pain of separation from her. Is that what you're saying?
No, as in he could tolerate the
The-
pain in love.
In
Being
love.
in love.
Yeah. Anybody else? Why she should marry the first prince? Yes.
He was the only one willing to go with her.
He was the only one willing to go with her. Wow. Anybody else would like to answer the same? Anybody voting for Prince 1? Imagine she comes to you and asks, who should I marry? So you have to counsel her. So this is what you tell her. Okay. How many of you feel she should marry Prince 3?
Yes.
Who is Prince 3?
One who got the medicinal.
One who got the medicinal. So let's see. Raise of hands, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost majority, I think. 30 of you. 30 of you. Any answers why she should marry him?
If there's problem in life, the first one will cry with her. The second one will look at her crying. The third one will do something to solve it.
So you feel the third one is the best. He's also like a Bollywood hero. He done something practical. Anybody else feels why she should marry Prince 3? Any answers? No answers. All of you raise your hands just like that. Same reason.
It's a similar answer from you.
Like
That you find a way out rather
Ah.
than staying and waiting there or jumping with her.
okay. How many of you feel she should marry Prince number 2? Only one hand. Yes. Why?
Because I believe that the way he sat there, he accepted the fact he had died, but at that moment he thought that if I will chant or I will in the name of God, God can do anything to bring her to the life. Otherwise, I will accept the fact that she had died, and I will live with that sorrow and take it as it is.
Wow, that's an interesting answer. This is from some Niti Shastras only, the story. And amazing, you know, this Niti Shastras say that she should marry Prince number 2, but for a different reason than what you've given. It's interesting because she married the second prince. Because the first one, he died with her. So when he came back to life, both of them came back to life together, so they got new birth, so he becomes her brother. They were born together. And the one who brought her back to life, he becomes the father because he gave her new life. So the third fellow. Anyway, there's no right and wrong answer. You can always debate this one also. But there's a reason why I told you this story. I often begin my Shravanam or hearing classes with this story because this is a classic case of how each one of us will be put in this situation where we'll have to choose from one of the 3 princes. Not literally, but in terms of choices. We all know how to make a choice during a moral dilemma. Okay, which is wrong, which is right. We know we have to choose the right thing. But have you been put in a situation where you have to choose between 2 right choices? Both are right, then what to do? So there is like a classic case where the princess has to choose one of the 3. Sometimes it happens, like for example, can you think of examples where there are 2 right choices, you don't know which one to do? I'm sure because I see all of your grihasthas here, you will have more examples than I have. Like classic case, when I go to US, I've seen this so many times. You know, Indian families, traditional families, Prabhu, my wife and children insist that I stay in America. My parents are calling me back to India. And I tell them, why don't you call your parents here? No, they don't want to come here. So what should I do, Prabhu? So I tell them, you are the princess with the garland. So this is an ethical dilemma. We don't know what to do. Like one man was saying that his daughter is very sick and she needs more attention from him, from her father. But now he's at the verge in his career where if he works 4 hours extra every day, 4 to 6 hours extra every day, then after 3 years, he won't have to work ever for the rest of his life. But this is the period in which his daughter needs maximum attention from him. So he's not able to make a trade-off. What to do? Should I spend more time with my daughter or work more? These are all classic cases where you don't know, you don't have a black and white answer. And don't have to tell me right now, but I'm sure you have many examples like this. The family, every day, I think every day you will have such battles to fight. So what to do? Which prince to choose? We all are put in situations where nobody else can take a decision for you. Your best well-wishers will be there to pat your back, hold your hand, but you have to walk that path alone. At that time, the Supreme Lord who is there in the heart as Paramatma, He guides us. He reveals to us the right thing to do. And how does the Supreme Lord reveal? The Supreme Lord reveals to us when we spend time with Him. When we hear His glories, Shanvata Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasthuya Bhadrani Vidunoti Suvitsadam. The more we hear about the Lord, the more we hear Bhagavad Gita classes, the Bhagavatam classes. We have everyday classes in Bangalore at the temple. So when we hear those classes, or when we hear online, when we have a culture of hearing, I repeat, culture of hearing. What you're doing right now, you are participating in the process of hearing, where you are simply rendering submissive oral reception to the katha that is being spoken. When we render this kind of service, right now you are practicing yoga. We generally think yoga means twisting your body, doing some complicated asanas. This is Shravanam yoga. Yoga means to connect. Yujjate. Yujjate means to connect. So Shravanam yoga is connecting to the Lord through hearing. When we hear about the Lord, the culture of hearing, I repeat, it's not one class that we hear and everything comes in place. No, the culture of hearing over a period of time, that yoga will help the Lord in the heart guide you to take the right decisions at the right time. And even if it's a wrong decision, even if you make a mistake, the Lord will reveal to you over a period of time that that mistake in retrospect was part of the Lord's plan to help you to come where you are now. Everything falls in place beautifully when they have a culture of hearing. Our ancestors were not fools. They give a lot of importance to this process. You go to traditional Indian temples even now, you will see this culture of hearing. It's not that you hear something new all the time. It's the same story, but it has a magical effect on our consciousness. Somebody asked me once in a class a challenging question. Will this hearing culture, does the Bhagavatam have solutions to my day-to-day problems like, I have a job problem, I have relationship issues. Does Bhagavatam contain solutions for my relationship issues? What do you think? Does Bhagavatam have solutions?
Yes.
How? Okay. Does Bhagavatam have a solution for now India, Pakistan are at the brink of war? Is there a solution for that in the Bhagavatam? If yes, how? Where? Is there a solution in the Bhagavatam? Let's say you have lost your job. Can Bhagavatam help you get a job? Yes, how? Where? Which chapter? Which verse tells you how to get a job?
It's the understanding.
It's understanding how. Where is the answer given?
Like Prahlad Maharaj is going through a difficult time. How does he get through it?
So what happens when you read that? Does that help you get a job?
No, it helps you become more resilient. It helps you.
Change your mindset.
Yes. Good. See, there's something very interesting. My cousin went to the Indian Military Academy. Indian Military Academy, like any other military school, they have a 3-year course where they study all the battles in history. The Napoleonic Wars, the Second World War, Battle of Somme, Operation Barbarossa, all the battles, all the wars. And they have a proper 3-year exam. American Civil War, all that. Battle of Waterloo. They study everything. And then, what happens? They get a degree. They pass the exam. They also do practical stuff, all that. And then interesting, in 2008, for those of you know, Mumbai was attacked by terrorists. 26/11. Are you aware of this?
Yes.
So this NSG, National Security Guard commandos entered the Taj Mahal Hotel to fight the terrorists. So my cousin was telling me that when these commandos were there inside, they all have done this course. They are not looking at each other and asking which chapter, which book, which course have the solution to this problem. They are not saying, oh, maybe we should apply the answer that we studied in this particular exam or this particular textbook. No. That was a unique case, Taj Mahal Hotel, which is not mentioned in any of those 150 wars that they studied. But this was the 151st. But they knew how to address this problem because they have studied 150 battles. Because they have internalized all the wars and battles of history, the Paramatma within guided them to innovate, improvise, and discover a new way of fighting this particular battle which was in front of them. And what they did will be part of the textbook next time. Are you getting what I am saying?
Yeah.
Similarly, what Prahlad Maharaj did, what Ambarish Maharaj did, what Dhruva did. When we read Bhagavatam, when we read the Bhagavad Gita regularly, systematically, what happens? Our conscience gets developed, our intuitive ability is sharpened, and our connection to the Paramatma becomes stronger. And then at the right time, as I rightly said, our fortitude develops, our resilience develops, and we also understand how to apply that solution in our present day crisis, which is in harmony with dharmic principles. That's how scriptural study, Shravanam, is extremely important to remain in the sacred space. If you want to remain connected to the Lord, if you want to awaken Aryan too, if you are interested in living a life which is in congruence with timeless principles, then you need to have a culture of hearing. Otherwise, our intelligence, if we rely only on our intelligence, we will be finished. Because intelligence is stronger than the mind, but unfortunately, intelligence becomes our enemy, not our friend. Intelligence is supposed to know better. When we get some unhealthy desires, our intelligence is supposed to help us. But unfortunately, our intelligence becomes a lawyer for the mind. Intelligence is supposed to be controlling the mind, but intelligence becomes a lawyer for the mind. Whatever the mind desires, intelligence starts executing it or planning it. Therefore, our intelligence is corrupted. We need to access a higher intelligence, and that is the intelligence of the scriptures. And when we connect to that intelligence, which is higher intelligence, then our conscience, our wisdom body is developed. And then we are able to take the right decisions. So this is how the science works. If you are interested in a little bit of technical knowledge, I can share with you. Give me your 5 minutes. Please let me know if this makes sense. This is a little technical, but if you understand this and if it resonates with you, then you will study scriptures regularly or hear. When I say study scriptures, I also mean hearing. Shravanam means study or hearing. Both are same. Some of you may not be able to read so much. You can always hear. So hearing and studying is same. Okay, Shravanam. So how does it work? Technically or scripturally? See, our intelligence, there is something called as cosmic intelligence or universal intelligence or also known as Krishna's intelligence. The right intelligence, okay? That's called Mahat Tattva. When the cosmos was formed, there was intelligence. So that intelligence, when my intelligence gets connected to that, then I am sorted. Then I am safe. Then I am effective. Then I am like one of your pure devotees in ISKCON, the sannyasis, the gurus. They are always blissful, sorted. The morning I was speaking about some devotees I know who radiate that kind of spiritual joy, who are always peaceful. Their intelligence is connected, the spiritual intelligence. So now you say, okay, how do I ensure that my intelligence is connected to that? That's the main challenge. the cosmic intelligence. How does that get happen? So we need to know what are the qualities of cosmic intelligence. What is that cosmic universal intelligence, Mahatattva? What is there? It has 4 features. It has jnana, vairagya. There's a lot of so basically, somebody's intelligence is cosmic or Mahatattva or spiritual when he has jnana. Jnana means here in this context the ability to know what is right and wrong. Jnana or viveka. Second is vairagya, natural renunciation or the ability to let go things which are not conducive for spiritual life. So jnana, vairagya. Third is aishwarya. Here aishwarya refers to the ability to control senses. And fourth, jnana, vairagya, aishwarya, and one more, which I am not able to recall now. There are 4 aspects to this cosmic intelligence. You will say, okay, jnana, vairagya, aishwarya, something more, which it's okay. So these are the 4 qualities which the Mahatattva has. You will say, okay, fine, now I have to make my intelligence aligned to that. And it has all these transcendental spiritual qualities. So what do I do? Simple. The scriptures explain just do these 5 things in your life. You will see, you will notice that your intelligence is getting aligned, getting connected to God. And one of those 5 things is studying scriptures. I will repeat. Our intelligence can get connected to God's intelligence when we do these 5 things. What are those 5 things? First, taking vows. Not tamoguna vows, not like Hiranyakashipu also took vows. Ravana also took vows. What we mean by vows is something which is healthy, which is in sattva, like Ekadashi vows, or chanting 10 rounds every day, 16 rounds, or vows like Kartik month, we take some vows. So taking vows in spiritual life helps our intelligence gets aligned to God's intelligence. Second is guidance of seniors. Like we see in ISKCON, we always approach seniors, we listen to them, we talk to them. Guidance. Third, association of equals. And fourth, study of scriptures, which is what we are doing now, hearing. And what is the fifth one? Very interesting. Silence, mauna. Means don't speak, not silence, integrity of speech. Don't speak unnecessary things. Don't do whether for gossip or politics. Don't waste your energy on unnecessary talk. Use your words judiciously. And I'm not able to logically explain this, but I see a connection between sharpening of intelligence and integrity of speech. I can't explain it logically, but I've seen that when I practice integrity of speech, and somehow I'm able to connect to myself better. Tell me, these are the 5 things. What are the 5 things? What is the first? Taking spiritual vows. Second, guidance of seniors. Third, association of equals. Fourth, study of scriptures. And fifth, silence or integrity of speech. Integrity. I won't say silence. Silence is like a strong word. Then you will say, what are you doing now, bro? Why don't you remain silent? Integrity of speech. So these are the 5 things. So when we do this, then our intelligence, what happens to our intelligence when we do these 5 activities? Our intelligence gets connected to God's intelligence. And then, because our intelligence gets connected to God's intelligence, then we are able to navigate through the challenges of this world the way God wants us to. Right now, we don't know what Krishna wants me to do in this situation. We often see devotees say, what does Krishna want me to do? Well, Krishna wants you to first do these 5 things. And then Krishna will reveal to you what you need to do. And one of these 5 things is studying scriptures. And I know devotees have taken vows of studying scriptures. Like I know a devotee who has a vow. Every day, whatever happens, half an hour I will read Prabhupada's books or I will hear Prabhupada's class. Inspired by him, I also try to hear alternate day Prabhupada's classes. And I can see the difference. When I made it a habit, see, I can hear Prabhupada's pastimes. Vishaka Mataji spoke so beautifully and It's nice, but when we connect to Prabhupada's lectures, then we can get the same connection which she is experiencing with Prabhupada. And something amazing I discovered. I realized the power of these devotees, wow, of reading Prabhupada's books every day. I don't do that every day. But just doing it consistently, you know what happened to me? I could perceive or understand many things which were not obvious. Like I give an example. There is one lecture of Prabhupada I was hearing recently. It is on 6th canto, Ajamil section, all of you know. So Ajamil he fell down seeing a prostitute embracing a man and all that story. So Prabhupada is speaking that class. And the initial verses, Prabhupada, the one class where Prabhupada chants the verse, then, and how does Prabhupada's class begin generally? It's like this. So, Krishna says, or something like that. You always begin like this. So, something happens. But this class is different. Prabhupada starts the class by saying, Vancha kalpatarupescha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anybody knows the meaning of this verse? Why do we chant this verse? What does this verse mean? Anybody? Wait. Would like to answer? Yes.
Giving obeisances to all Vaishnavas, and they are like a wish-fulfilling tree.
And they are the ones who help us come closer to Krishna. They are very merciful. They are very kind. This is the glorification of Vaishnava. And Prabhupada begins the class with this shloka. And then he glorifies Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, then he speaks on the purport. And I said, wait a minute, what has happened just now? Prabhupada never begins the class like this. And then I went to the verse. I opened the Bhagavatam. And I realized, wow. You know what Prabhupada had entered the mood? See, this section was just before this, 5th canto, Parikshit Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami described all hellish planets. And Parikshit Maharaj has ended the section by asking how these souls can be delivered from these hellish planets. And Shukdev Goswami is now beginning the answer. And he begins with Ajamil's pastime. And he begins by saying one should perform rituals, yajna and all of that. And Parikshit Maharaj says, no, I want an answer to how the people can be helped. And after that, a few verses after that, this particular verse came where there was no mention about hellish planets, there was no mention about rituals. It was simply about one boy, Ajamil, was going to the forest. That's it. But Srila Prabhupada had entered that space of Parikshit Maharaj's heart, being overwhelmed with compassion and love for the fallen, suffering souls who are burning in hell. And Prabhupada goes on to mention in the class, Parikshit Maharaj can't see the souls suffering in hell. He wants them to be delivered. So Prabhupada is able to see what is not obvious. And I got a glimpse of it. I saw, wow, this is not there in the purport. But Prabhupada is entering that space. See, we generally, many of us, when we read books, when we read scriptures, we read or we understand what is written. We take it literally, right? That's what we do generally. Some of the preachers, they are intelligent. They don't read literally. They read and they understand how to apply it in their present context. Like they give examples from corporate world. They give examples from history, and then you think, wow, they know scriptures better. Because devotee one simply reads and like a parrot he repeats. But devotee two, he is able to read and apply it in his own life. Wow, he is better. But Prabhupada is devotee 3 category. He is also able to see what is not there. So when we have a culture of reading and hearing regularly, we can go beyond the apparent and not only apply it in our own lives, we will also see what the other dynamics of the scriptures. So Srila Prabhupada, because he had a compassionate heart, he could see Parikshit Maharaj is compassionate. And he is offering Manchakalpa prayers for Parikshit Maharaj. This would have just missed me if I didn't have a culture of hearing regularly. And now when I hear Prabhupada's classes, I feel a loving grandfather is protecting me. So when Prabhupada says, so in India, many people they sleep in classes, Bhagavad classes, because the speaker says many times, so in Hindi, so means so. Sleep. So, okay, thank you. Prabhupada says, so, you rascal, I wake up. When Prabhupada says, rascal, I just wake up. And slowly over a period of time, I tell you honestly, when I was new devotee, I didn't understand much. But now I can feel Prabhupada's compassion, I can feel that he really loves me. See, I don't know whether I love Prabhupada, but I'm right now, I'm in a space and I'm convinced that Prabhupada loves me. Because of hearing constantly. And I can see his, it's this compassion which makes him say, you rascal, you foolish, get up. Because of constantly hearing, I can sense that urgency in his voice. So when Mother Vishaka was speaking about Prabhupada, I was feeling so grateful to her, and I was just thinking how blessed this manner community that. Thank you, Dan. Vote of thanks. You were mentioning the greatest fortune all of you have. That's what you mentioned, right? Then that she's here with us. So I felt that I feel that whenever I hear Prabhupada's classes, I remember once somebody asked me, why does Prabhupada call rascal all the scientists and all that? So then I didn't have an answer immediately at that time, but how Krishna fulfills your desires. While hearing Prabhupada's class, I was praying, please help me. I want to present you to the people. I want your message of compassion to go to everyone. And then how Krishna arranges, that's another advantage of praying, and culture of hearing and praying is how it helps. So, how Krishna arranges, just within 3 or 4 days, I came across a conversation of Srila Prabhupada in New Vrindavan, 23rd June 1976, room conversation, where Prabhupada must have spoken rascal at least 50 times. And I was going through it carefully, and somehow how Krishna arranges. This was a mock debate between devotees who are acting as scientists, and Srila Prabhupada is giving Krishna conscious arguments. And the argument went back and forth, back and forth. And Prabhupada kept saying, you rascal, don't understand, can you create life from chemicals? I'll give you all the chemicals, create life, you rascal. And Prabhupada is saying so many times. And then one of the devotees, acting as a scientist, he counter-challenged Prabhupada. Why do you call us rascal? That was a great question. That's exactly the question I had in my mind. And the answer was so amazing. Without batting an eyelid, spontaneously. Generally when you are asked a tough question, you think. And then you answer. But when this devotee challenged Prabhupada, why do you call us a rascal? You know what Prabhupada said? Immediately, because I love you. And that just hit my heart. And then he says, I love you. I can't see you suffer in the material world. That's why I'm pushing you to practice bhakti. I want you to chant Hare Krishna, perfect your life, study the Bhagavatam, go back home, back to Godhead. Do you understand, you rascal? Prabhupada called him rascal. So that grandfather's compassion, that love, is beautifully coming out. Yesterday morning in the temple class, I was giving the example of one Prabhupada disciple, I forget his name now. He asked Srila Prabhupada once, why do you call everyone rascal? So Srila Prabhupada said, a doctor is performing a surgery in the operation theatre with a knife. And a criminal enters the operation theatre with a knife. And he says, I also have a knife in my hand. Let me do the surgery. What will the doctor say? Doctor said, you rascal, get out. So then Prabhupada said, I am the doctor. And some imposter is coming with a knife and he says he has a solution to make people happy. So I am telling you, rascal, get out. Why I am saying this, the importance of rascal is because Prabhupada is actually carrying the mood of Vedic scriptures. Those of you who have studied Bhagavatam and deeply, the Vaishnava scripture, you will see Shukdev Goswami is constantly chastising the hearers. How does Bhagavatam begin? You know how does the Bhagavatam begin? Shukdev Goswami's first words, how does the speaker begin the class in ISKCON? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me an opportunity to glorify Krishna. Thank you. It is a great honor to be here with all. This is how we begin, right? You know how Shukdev Goswami begins the class? Shabekvara Ushtra Kharei Samsuta Purusha Pashu Nayat Karna Pato Peto Jatunama Dadagruja. All of you, dogs, camels, asses, pigs. This is how he begins the class. You're not hearing about Krishna? You're a dog, you're a pig, you're a donkey, you're a camel. And the audience is supposed to say, yes, yes, yes. Please tell us, please purify my heart. The whole mood of Vedic scriptures is the spiritual sound vibration comes from a space of heaviness. Sadhu means one who cuts. Guru means literally heavy. So the idea is that I'm a fool. I don't know what's right and wrong. And oh Bhagavatam, oh Krishna, oh Guru, please tell me strong words. Cut the knots of material attachment through your strong words. And we are supposed to hear it humbly. Not that you get up and change your life dramatically. No, that's not the point. The point is hear submissively. Don't get up and change everything drastically. And yes, I'm fallen. I'm a fool. So in that mood, Srila Prabhupada is chastising. And that's compassion. That's love, because Bhagavatam's goal is that we are all stuck in material world with our attachments. We need to be shaken. We need to come back to Krishna. So we won't come back to Krishna because we're complacent. We are attached to our Netflix series. We are attached to our YouTube reels. We are attached to our social lives. And spiritual life is a serious subject matter. It's not about improving our social life. It's about ending the cycle of repeated birth and death. And how do we do that? Somebody has to shake us. That's what Bhagavatam does. And therefore, when we hear or study scriptures in that mood, then our intelligence gets aligned to God's intelligence. Then we are able to see everything. Therefore, the culture of regular hearing is what makes the whole difference. You know, when I especially see, have you heard, anyone here has heard His Holiness Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj lectures? On YouTube, please do it. You heard? Thank you, Mataji. Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj, I think when he was quite 60 or 65, he met Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada gave him sannyas. The first thing Prabhupada asked him when he met him was, like generally we say, who are you? What's your name? When Prabhupada met him first time, have you taken sannyas? No, I will give you sannyas. He's like special soul. So he got sannyas from Prabhupada, and his classes are, he said many times in his classes, very strong. You rascal, you also in that mood. But that's all in the space of compassion. If you all imitate, you will go to hell. You can't imitate Prabhupada. You should never call anyone like that. But I have seen, I see where Srila Prabhupada is coming from. At least now, I am at a stage in my Krishna consciousness where I am convinced of Srila Prabhupada's compassion. I may not have that compassion. I may not love Prabhupada so much, but I know he loves me. He reminds me of my grandmother. I want to share this one story, and then maybe we can have some questions. You know, my grandmom, I grew up in a small town, a small village. I was 4 years old, I remember, in a village. And we are 3 brothers. All of us were born in our ancestral house. My mom did give birth to us in a hospital. And it was normal delivery, all 3 of us. When I was 4 years old, I remember my immediate younger brother was 3. And my youngest brother was just born. My 3rd brother. And my mom was in labor. She was in the ancestral house, she was in the room with the small newborn baby. Few days had passed. And my grandmother, my mom's mom, she had told all of us 10 children. We were all, I think, 4, 3, 5, playing in the village. And there was a pond. And there was a quicksand there. And I remember my grandmother telling all of us, all the 10 of us, none of you will go there. Do you understand? Yes. Repeat. All of us had to repeat. And yes. So Nani, and Nanis are generally very loving, but they can also be very strict. So she was ordering all of us, and we agreed. But we were small children. We continued playing in the trees, the forest, all that. And somehow we all slipped to that pond area. And my younger brother, immediate younger brother, he fell in. And I remember now, I'm 52, but I remember as a 4-year-old boy seeing him drown. I still remember the look in his eyes. You know that look? Because we didn't know whether to cry. We knew something was wrong. But we were not crying. We were not happy. There was something wrong. And he was going down, and we were all looking at him, and some of us were crying. My younger brother is drowning. I knew this, we didn't know what is death, but we knew it is death. Do you understand? Like, this is how it's, look at it from my point of view. And suddenly, 60 meters from where we were playing was our ancestral house well. Now, during those days, we didn't have running water taps. We used to draw water from the well. So my mom, grandmom, Nani is drawing water from the well. And she looks at our direction. And she immediately understands what's happening. She drops the picture that she was drawing water from. And she tucks her sari inside her waist. And she comes running. And she picks up my brother. She stretches her hand, she picks him up, and we're all watching. She picks him up, she puts him on the earth. She realizes my brother is okay. She puts him on her chest. She kisses him, and then she slaps him. And then she slaps us. I still remember she slapping 3 or 4 of us very hard. And after slapping us, she embraced all of us and she kissed us. And she's shouting at us, she's crying, and she's smiling. Now when I look back, was she really beating us? Was she really hitting? What was happening there? What was the principle that was governing her emotion? What was happening to her? Love. That love overwhelmed her that, oh, this child was drowning, but so she was kissing the child, beating the child, loving the child, everything. You will see Srila Prabhupada is exactly like that. Srila Prabhupada shouts at you, rascal, and then in the same moment he will give you Mahaprasad, he will love you. He carried no malice towards anyone, he was only compassion personified. He only wanted us to love Krishna because he knew that that's the only way we will be happy. So this is all happening because of Prabhupada's classes hearing. I realize now that Srila Prabhupada is, he's like my grandmama. So I think we're all very blessed. And Prabhupada has given us Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. And if we take shelter of the scriptures, we are regularly from bona fide devotees in ISKCON, we will also develop attraction for Krishna. And everything that the scriptures say will make sense to us eventually. So, to conclude, we can have some discussions on this because it's a very intense topic. So we began with a story and we explained how we all will be put in an ethical choice. We'll have to make some choices in life. We'll not know what to do. At such times, what will help us? Shravanam? Hearing? No, not hearing. Something more than hearing. Culture of hearing. Not simply hearing some particular. You can't say, okay, I have a problem of job. So let me hear a class where ISKCON devotee on job. YouTube. You search on YouTube. ISKCON, job, lecture. You get 10 lectures. That will not help you. Because that's not a culture of hearing. You are just trying to quick fix. Culture, and to explain the point of culture of hearing, I gave the example from I gave an example which reveals to us how if you have a culture of hearing at the right time, we get help for our problems.
That war thing.
Military academy. The military academy, the training helps them connect their intuition to all the military battles and develop strategies to solve their present crisis. Similarly, if you have a culture of study and hearing of scriptures, you will get solutions for our problems. And then we discussed how our intelligence has to be aligned with God's intelligence. God's intelligence has 4 qualities, of which I remember 3: Jnana, Vairagya, Aishwarya. And essentially, our intelligence, if it has to be connected to God's intelligence, then we have to have 5 practices in our lives. What are those 5 practices? Vows, guidance of seniors, association of equals, scriptures, culture of studying scriptures, and finally integrity of speech. मुंह में जबान सब रखते हैं. All of you know Hindi? I translate in English later. मुंह में जबान सब रखते हैं, पर कमाल वो करते हैं जो उसे संभाल के रखते हैं. Everybody has a tongue, but those people are great, those who can keep it locked. So these are the 5 things we need to do. And then we were discussing how scripture's mood is to shake us. They use strong language. Shukdev Goswami begins Bhagavatam with a strong language. And then we discussed how Srila Prabhupada also, echoing that mood, spoke very strongly to shake us from our complacency. And then we discussed Srila Prabhupada's pastimes, and we concluded by saying how we need to have a culture of hearing. And when we hear daily, we will also hear and see what is not apparent. We'll be able to go beyond the apparent statements. So I request all of you to have a culture of Shravanam, and along with your service attitude and chanting, which we will discuss tomorrow, you will see that you will always be able to live in a sacred space, which is the theme of this retreat. You will feel connected to your real version, the real I. You will feel more comfortable in your skin. You will feel happy at who you are. You will feel inadequate. You will feel fallen. At the same time, you will feel happy. This is a paradox in bhakti. Most advanced devotees, they feel they are extremely fallen, but they also feel extremely blissful. Many of us, they are extremely blissful because they are proud, and we feel fallen, then we get into depression. Ideally, we should feel depressed, we should feel extremely fallen and also be happy. But that can happen only when we are in a sacred space, when we are connected with Krishna. And we can be connected with Krishna when we have a culture of service, Shravanam, and chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I have kept some time for questions and answers. We can have some discussions now. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mother, you had a question you were asking in the morning. You would like to ask now?
Yeah.
I was rushing that time.
Yeah. So in the morning there was a topic of Krishna will.
In the morning there was one topic of that we shouldn't be more worried about how we are doing and all, and Krishna will accept us as we are. But then I was thinking, if sometimes we are falling down in our practices and all, and if we keep thinking that anyway, if I don't do my rounds and all that, Krishna will still accept me and just go very easy in my life. So that could make us fall us down. So how to keep that balance, that even though Krishna is accepting what I am, but still I need to improve in my spiritual practice, or I have to raise myself.
Beautiful. All of you got a question?
Yeah.
Yes. So, very important point, Mami. Thank you for asking this question. See, the morning I was speaking about honesty. I was saying Krishna loves us, wants us to be honest. He wants us to come to Him from a space of authenticity. Honesty is the best way to come to Krishna. Krishna, this is where I am. I am unable to chant. I am coming to you. This is honesty. But let me clarify. Honesty is not a license for shamelessness. There is a difference between honesty and shamelessness. What is shameless? I don't chant. You know what? I can't chant. I am being very honest. That is not honesty. That is shameless. See, what is honesty? Honesty means what? To know where you are, but not remain where you are. I'll redefine honesty. What is honesty? To know where you are, but not remain where you are. That is honesty. I know, if you know where you are, but you remain where you are, then is that honesty? No. That is shamelessness. So, answer to your question, Mataji, is yes. Krishna, I am sorry, I am not able to chant 16 rounds, but I am sincere, I will not remain where I am coming forward, I am making these vows, I am putting up a disciplined effort, and then you make a vow which is feasible. Don't make unrealistic vows. If you are getting up every day morning at 8 a.m., don't take a vow that tomorrow you will rise at 3 a.m. From 8 a.m., you can't directly jump to 3 a.m. You take a vow that you get up every day at 7:30. Then after a few weeks of 7:30, then 7. Then 6. So like that, we need to come forward. That is honesty. Is that okay? Does that answer the question? But honestly, it's the best way to come to Krishna. See, if you want to join the army, they test your physical abilities, mental prowess. That is a qualification to join the army. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army, Srila Prabhupada's army, you qualify by joining. The joining qualification criteria is honesty. Krishna, this is where I am. Please accept me. I'm not as advanced as people think I am. But I'm very ordinary, but I love you. I want to serve you. That's where we begin our journey. Thank you. Yes, any other questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, I'll come to you later.
Hare Krishna. So if we are in a situation where we are facing a dilemma, as you were explaining, should we, and assuming that we're following a culture of hearing, should we wait for the answers to be revealed to us, or should we be proactive and reach out to Guru Sadhu Shastra?
Of course, you should reach out to Guru Sadhu Shastra. Because we need devotees, we need association, we need help. I was just giving an extreme example of how, and it happens with many of us, that despite the best association, we are put in situations where nobody can help. Like when I joined, I had this romantic idea about bhakti. Just practice KC and devotees will help you, and you don't have to worry anything. No, but I was put in situations in my life where I had the best well-wishing devotee friends with me. They were all holding my hands. But they couldn't take the decision for me. I had to take a call. And it was not easy. I couldn't just, I asked Prabhu, what should I do? And all of them, Prabhu, I love you. You choose this path, we are with you. You choose this one, we are with you. But you take a call. It was not easy. I'm sure all of you can relate to what I'm saying. It's, we'll have the best devotee friends. We'll have everyone with us. But some things. So in that context, I was saying that we need scriptures, Krishna to guide us. But of course, there is no substitute for Guru, Sadhu, association, because they give us insights from the scriptures itself. They are practicing scriptures, so they give us insights which help us. So, and actually, what we think is scriptures helping us is actually the devotees helping us. So, definitely, we need devotees, and they are the living example of the scriptures. And I'm talking about situations where devotees may not be able to directly help you take a decision. Then what do you do? Yes, Mataji.
I have a neighbor. My neighbor, she was 90 years old, and I went to see her regularly, and I used to sit and chant, my neighbor, and Indian lady, and yesterday her daughter called me and she said I took her to hospital, she was sick, and she was just saying Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, and in the night she died. I never know Mala, no Dhamma. She just, I used to go to her house, and sometimes she was sleeping, I used to chant, sometimes she was sitting. I had to sit there and chant because she would like it.
Yeah, she remembered the Lord as she was living about it.
I was just surprised.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Roman, you have to see. Oh, okay. Roman.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You said the cosmic intelligence has got 4 things. So you only said 3.
I forgot the fourth one.
Is the 4th one Dharma?
Dharma.
Can you please elaborate?
Dharma is coming from the Sanskrit root word dhru, dhru dhatu. Dhru means sustain. So this universe is sustained or continuing because of a certain principle that we live by. When we are all in harmony with certain principles, then the universe is sustained. And that is called dharma. So for example, if you are a mother, if you offer unconditional love to your child, that's dharma. If you are a student and you are attempting to understand the subject matter sincerely, that is dharma. So we all have our dharmas. But the problem is, in this material world, we have many roles to play. You are a father, husband, son, manager. So we have many roles to play, and each of these roles have many goals. And therefore, eventually there will be a dharma conflict. So the four qualities of the cosmic God's intelligence is dharma, jnana, vairagya, and aishwarya. So dharma refers to the right thing to do. So our intelligence is connected to God's intelligence when we are able to naturally align towards dharmic living. We are able to control our senses. We have an actual easy, we are able to give up things that are not conducive for spiritual life. And we also have control over our senses. So that's how it is. Thank you, Prabhu. I forgot dharma. I think I thought that. But I know this five, what we need. I may not know what God's intelligence qualities, I may not know, but I know what are the five things I need to do. Yes. Anybody else? Yes, Madhavi.
You say always study with Bhagavatam. When I read Bhagavatam, I read 2 pages and then next page, and forget.
Okay, so you are asking how to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, now let us, this is a very good question, I'm glad you asked. I know many devotees, they don't study Bhagavatam or they don't hear regularly because they feel, oh, I forget. No, this is a disease. We've been brainwashed since childhood that if you don't remember, you have not studied. As children, we were chastised when we forgot. Or exams only tested our memory. Is that how it is in England also? So somewhere we are begun to believe that you have studied something if you remember it. Isn't that right? Am I right? Okay, now let me give you some good news. When it comes to Bhagavatam, the rules are different. Even if you don't remember everything, if you study, Krishna will help you remember the right thing at the right time. This is an extremely dangerous trend. I have seen so many sincere devotees because of this brainwashing, this insecurity. Oh, I don't remember shlokas, I can't study, I read yesterday, today I forgot, what is the use? It's okay. It's not what you know, it's not what you remember, it's your association with Krishna that is more important. It's your associating with Bhagavatam that is more important than knowing what's there in the Bhagavatam. Do you get what I'm saying? This is very, very important point. The laws are different. You may forget. And then at the right time when you're old, when you're about to die, everything will fall in place. You remember. See, I remember once somebody asked my Guru Maharaj in a Bhagavatam class that Maharaj, nowadays devotees are reading a lot of other self-help books and they are doing all this kind of preaching. Because they say that we already know Bhagavatam. We know what's, we have read Bhagavatam last 30 years. I'm a devotee. I know Bhagavatam, I know CC, I know all this. So I need something more. I need to have some knowledge. I need to know. Then Maharaj gave a beautiful answer. He said in spiritual life, knowledge is not important, association is important. Then Maharaj said, Haridas Thakur knew all the glories of the holy name. But why was he only chanting Hare Krishna every day? Association of the holy name is more important than knowing and remembering everything about the holy name. So similarly, you may forget, but you are associating again with the Bhagavatam. And you know what will happen? Okay, this is a bomb I'm going to drop now. When you read Bhagavatam regularly, when you hear satsang classes, you know what will happen? You will not get solutions to your problems. You will understand what is your problem. There is a big difference. There is a big difference. Many of us, we come to Hare Krishna programs thinking, I know what my problem is. I want to see Hare Krishna will give me solution. Isn't this our mood many times? But spiritual satsangs are not meant for that. Spiritual satsangs are meant for people who are in the mood, what is my problem? I want to know. Ke ami, kene ama, jar tapat kare. Someone was going to ask this. What is my problem? And you know what will happen? Once we know what's our problem, our life will change. Like for example, there is a man in an Indian village. He has this back pain, lower back pain, and some throat pain, and all of that. And he's given some medicines. He takes for a few days, and then he doesn't take the medicines because he's not really convinced about his ailment, inconsistent about his medications. And one day he realizes that the pain he's going through is because of cancer. Then do you think he'll take his medicine seriously? Till now he was not taking it seriously because he didn't know what the problem was. Once he knows what is the problem, then does anyone have to convince him to take the medicines? But there's another problem here. The farmer in this village doesn't know what is cancer. He thinks, cancer must be like a cold. He thinks it's a sophisticated term for fever, some ordinary fever. So then what is the next step? We will have to convince him what is cancer. Right? Once he's convinced the dangers of cancer, this is cancer. Okay, first job done. Second, you have cancer. Okay. And then medicine you will actually take. You know what is the problem with us? We chant one day, we don't chant. We hear Bhagavatam one day, we don't. Yeah, we are like that man who's taking medicine, not taking. Because we don't know we have the cancer of birth, death, old age disease. We don't know what is the problem. And we are like that farmer because some of us know we have the disease of birth, death, old age disease, but we don't know what is birth, death, old age disease. Like this farmer doesn't know what is cancer. We don't know what this problem is. But when we hear Bhagavatam regularly, we understand. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshana darshanam. This is a serious problem. And then, not only we understand this is a serious problem, we understand over a period of time of the culture of hearing that I have this problem. And then the medicine of hearing chanting will naturally happen. That's why I don't take how questions seriously, because when you answer why, when you understand the emergency of Krishna consciousness, then you won't care whether you remember or not. Every day you will come to Bhagavatam, because it's not a test of your intellectual memory, it's a test of your shelter. Krishna and yours, I need shelter. See, if you ask ChatGPT solutions for any problems, ChatGPT will give you how to improve chanting. Everything. ChatGPT will give you a poem also. I wrote one poem once and I put it on ChatGPT for editing. Wow, what an editing it did. And then somehow it went viral and everybody's saying I wrote that poem. Of course, I wrote that poem, but everybody's glorifying me and all that. And then I realized, my God, ChatGPT is God. So ChatGPT can tell you how to do things, how to solve problems. But you ask ChatGPT, dear ChatGPT, what is my problem? That we cannot say. For that you have to come to Hare Krishna class. In ISKCON class, the speaker will speak Bhagavatam, you will hear every day. And one day, you will understand what is your problem. You will understand your problem is birth, death, old age, disease. And you will also understand what is birth, death, old age, disease. And then every word Prabhupada says, you will like, Prabhupada, I want you. So don't worry, Mataji, if you don't remember. Please, this is a childhood brainwashing. I went through that. And I used to memorize. Even after, in ISKCON, I've not shown you this book. I carry this with me everywhere. This is my shloka book. I'm memorizing shlokas all the time. This is my shloka book. Last so many years, all the shlokas, my favorite shlokas are in this book. But when I'm reading this, I sometimes feel I've forgotten all the shlokas. But I keep reading them again, memorizing them again, forgetting them again, and again reading them. It's not to conquer something or get some intellectual prowess. Because these verses are not different from Krishna. I hope you understand what I'm saying. This is very, very powerful scripture study. So just reading today in the like morning, I was just reading a few verses. I felt like nourished, and I also laughing at myself because I realized I forgotten these verses. It's okay, but the day I remembered them, I was enjoying it. So now I remember some other verses. So like that, life goes on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Should we stop here or take one last question? We take one last question. We have time, Madhuri? Yes. Yes, Roman, you take the question. There's a microphone, there's a question.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much. I think you kind of answered the question already in the last answer. Because I was just wondering how you would balance reading and listening along with practical application of what we're reading.
Reading and listening, how to balance? Yeah. See, nowadays many people prefer listening to reading. All the books also are in audio format. So I would suggest hearing is okay, but it should also be systematic. Just like studying is systematic. If you have systematic hearing, then it is okay. It is as good as hearing, studying. Which means like you will hear your Guru Maharaj's classes every day, or one day Prabhupada's class, one day Guru Maharaj's class. It should be systematic. It can't be like random. Just anytime you read and anything you hear, it shouldn't be like that. Then you don't get the full benefit of it. Okay, I was boiling water today. Suddenly the electricity, for a second I thought there's some wrong connection, the wire wasn't connected. So the light was there, it was heating, and it went off. Then I again switched it on, the light was on, then it went off. You think how much time it would take for the water to boil if the electricity came and went off? How long would it take? Never, it will never boil. So then I have to put the plug properly. And then when there is a steady flow of electricity, the water boils. Isn't it? Similarly, I hear something here and there. Okay, I like this class. Oh, this speaker speaks very nice jokes. Oh, this speaker is good. No, this is very nice. Let me hear this. So one day you hear this for 5 minutes. Next day you're basically seeking entertainment, not purification and nourishment. Then it's like boiling water with inconsistent electricity. No, it's like you don't actually get the benefit. But if you have consistent practice, like I have a practice of one day my Guru Maharaj's class, next day Prabhupada's class. One day Guru Maharaj, next day. So then that hearing is as good as studying. Because nowadays not everybody has the patience to study because of, unfortunately, we've grown up in a generation of WhatsApp and electronic gadgets, and we don't have patience to sit and read so much. But at least hearing, it's okay, but it should be consistent, steady practice. It's a practice, it's not a feel-good, it's not a feel-good exercise. That's why when you feel sleepy also, you need to get up. You need to stand and listen to the class or read. There has to be effort in our spiritual practice. Like I remember when I joined the ashram, even in the Bhagavatam classes sometimes would doze off. But there was an understanding that if somebody would tap us on the lap, then we would stand up and we would stand on the side and continue to hear the class standing. That was acceptable. And we would feel embarrassed or sometimes my Guru Maharaj would say in the class, Prabhu, you're sleeping. And then we would get up, you take our name and say, and then we would stand up and stand on the side and continue to listen to the class. So that's the practice. So then we get benefit. But I'm okay with hearing and studying both. But somehow I have seen studying has given me more impactful understanding of scriptures than simply hearing. But when I have heard attentively, and hearing also, live hearing is much better than any amount of YouTube hearing. Even if that devotee is new devotee, but he's sitting on the Vyasasana representing the Parampara and he's speaking sincerely, then just sitting in that class has a lot of potency because it's a tradition, it's a Parampara. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mary.
Is there a problem in hearing all day, like, constantly without any break, like one after the other?
It's like saying, is there a problem in eating food all the time, constantly? No, you also digest that food. Right? So it's no problem, you can hear the whole day, but you need to sometimes pause and reflect and relish it. You don't have to always analyze it. Like Krishna Katha, you can hear the whole day. Krishna's pastimes, you can hear the whole day. There's no problem. But sometimes philosophy comes and okay, there are 4 steps. Please listen to this very carefully. I'm glad, Mother, you asked this question actually. Shravanam is the first step. Hearing or studying is the first step. Then comes Mananam. Mananam means digesting, introspection, or analyzing what you read. Then comes Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam means applying it in your personal life. One is hearing, second is understanding it, third is understanding it more deeply in your personal life. That is Nididhyasanam. And fourth step is Vandanam, offering a prayer to the Lord based on what you have read. So when somebody comes and says, today's Bhagavatam class was excellent, today I heard this class. Initially I would tell them, so what did you hear? What did the speaker say? Nowadays I don't ask that question, because that is first step, hearing. I ask them the second question. What did you learn from the class? What did you learn from the class is different than what did you hear in the class. Hearing is Shravanam, learning is Mananam. And now I ask you a third question. What can you apply from this class in your personal life? That is Nididhyasanam. And then, is there some prayer we could offer based on what we heard today? That is Vandanam. When you light fire with a matchbox, so when you light a fire, that fire burns immediately. What do? I put my palms to protect it from getting extinguished. You done that? Yeah. And then you light fire. It becomes a big fire. Shravanam is like lighting fire. Mananam is protecting that fire from getting extinguished. Mananam. And then Nididhyasanam is seeing that fire turn into a blazing inferno. And Vandanam is like all your sins and all your reactions getting burned to ashes because of that fire. That's Vandanam. So Shravanam is lighting fire, Mananam is protecting that fire from getting extinguished, Nididhyasanam is seeing that fire becoming a blazing inferno, and Vandanam is seeing that all our dry grass like sinful reactions get burned to ashes. So therefore it's important that even if we hear the whole day, if it's Krishna Katha, then it's okay, you can hear the whole day Krishna's pastimes. But if there is something application. In pastime there is nothing applicational all the time. You can't get like Krishna, Krishna killing Trinavarta, Krishna playing with his friend. It's simply for relishing. If you are hearing for relishing, you can hear the whole day. If you are hearing as you want to learn something, apply something, then you have to pause, reflect. Tomorrow we have a session on journaling, right? So I'll be sharing with you one technique of journaling where it's called scriptural journaling. I'll share that technique with you. So then that's another way of hear whatever you hear and read, you write it down in your own words. So that's another way. Is that okay? Mataji, does that answer you? We'll stop here. It's 3:30. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki